Inspire. Yo, that's a cool portrait. What the hell is that? I think, I mean, once again, I'm not going to name any names when I talk about topics like this, right? But from talking to the other StarCraft players, from the other StarCraft pros, I feel like some are proper geniuses and some, you know, really don't seem like particularly smart. So I know it's kind of hard to do like a face value IQ check, but I don't know. I would guess there's probably not too much correlation between IQ and being super good at StarCraft. Maybe a little bit, or maybe only with like the real top players. Like I would imagine that the average IQ of the top 10 players is probably quite high, you know, but I don't know. If you're gonna tell me that even, you know, never mind. I've said enough. I've said enough. No, I've said enough. Wait, what? Oh, it was Zerg. Okay. There correlation between race and IQ? Probably not. Hold the mouth? I will hold it. I mean, it's not even like I was thinking about anything in particular, but I don't just want to go around offending people, you know. This is no regret? Ah. Jack. We're playing as Jack. Protoss players can't be mouth breeders because Protoss doesn't have mouths. Genius. That is actually very smart. See, Protoss players do have a high IQ. Heaven proving it right here. 1 point for the Protoss players. Now, I made a poll on my Twitter earlier today. I'm actually very curious to the results. So far, it's very even. I basically asked if it were objectively true that Protoss players were worse, would you still buff them? And it seems like it's about 50-50 on that. Which I guess is... I wouldn't even say it's to be expected. I think I expected the buff Protoss option to win by maybe like 60-70%, but it's actually pretty 50-50 so far. I was thinking about making a video on it because I feel like there's so much to say about it. There's a lot of things to say about the Protoss balance debate.
Not enough minerals.
Protoss players were worse? Why would that be? I guess it's mostly a debate because Protoss players haven't been winning as much the last couple of years, I want to say. Like maybe like 2 years or so. And I feel like especially on Reddit and on the forums and stuff, people are going crazy about getting Protoss buffs, right? But it's at this point in StarCraft, there's just not that many players, right? Like if you think about it, there's probably like, let's say on average 5 top players for each race. If the game is huge, the chance that something like this happens is very small, right? Like if a race sucks, well, the player base is absolutely massive, then they just suck. But since there's not enough players, it's very well possible that the 5 best Protoss players are just worse than, you know, the ones of the other races. But I think it's almost impossible to actually see. I think it's almost impossible to see whether like Protoss is a bit worse or the players are worse. Like I don't think anyone can realistically see or calculate that, you know. Like for example, if I looked at the IM Katowice games, it looks like Hero and well, Hero is a good example. Like Hero is the best Protoss player, second best Protoss player right now, and he's super sloppy, right? Like it's crazy. Compared to like the best Terrans and Zergs, he's very sloppy, but it's kind of hard to tell if Protoss just has like more critical things to focus on or whatever, you know. So I didn't even know how you would see that. It's like, and a big problem is that like the longer it would go on, the more people would be convinced that the Protoss players are worse, you know. Like let's say if you see Hero and he's only gonna make top 8s for the rest of his career, right? Or for let's say for the next 5 years or so, then people are just gonna think he's not as good because you're kind of used to that. I think we saw this pretty strongly with like the really hyper dominance of Zerg from like 2017 to 2022 or whatever, right? Like they had an 8 World Championship winning streak. Think about that, okay? They had an 8 World Championship winning streak over the span of like 5-6 years. But because they won for so long, people would just assume that they were the better players, you know, which kind of left Zerg being in like a pretty overpowered state for forever, pretty much, you know. So like, that's kind of what you want to avoid with Protoss. Like it needs to be looked at now, so Protoss isn't like left in an underpowered state for, yeah, until the end of StarCraft, basically. No, 2017 is when the Zerg dominance started, for sure. That's when the Zerg dominance started. ZVZ finals in BlizzCon. That's yeah, that's how it all started off. This lovely period of Zerg dominance. Zoo against Rogue, baby. Yeah, but it's not necessarily about losing, right? Like if an I Am Katowice, they showed the POV of the players. And if you would see Maru play, or Serral, or Clem, or Raynor, right? They look incredibly clean and fast. And then you see Hero, and you just see him play a little slow. He was misclicking everything. He shaded his adepts in the opponent's base on accident. Like, it really looks like a whole different level of play, you know? It's really hard to, yeah. Guys made way too many Zerglings, by the way. You could have stopped making Zerglings like 2 minutes ago. Stop! Jesus, you gotta stop, bro. It's getting too much. Like I've been barely reacting to it as well. I've just been like trying to macro behind it.
Not enough minerals. Not enough research complete.
Imagine there was no Sarah. Yeah, so that is a common argument. That argument is also completely wrong, though. I can say that with 100% certainty. So whenever I talk about Zerg winning 8 world championships in a row, there's always someone that says it's just Serral, but in reality it was 5 different Zerg. Not literally, right? Not 3, not 2. It was 5 different Zergs winning those world championships, yeah? So it's, yeah. It's not just Serral. Fucking current patch. Oh yeah, I don't think Zerg is necessarily dominant now. I think it's more I don't know. Terran and Zerg seem relatively even, and then Protoss is lagging behind, right? From what I can tell. Like the people that are complaining about Zerg just because of Serral winning, that's, you know, like calling Serral a patchwork and stuff like that. That's a correlation between StarCraft 2 and low IQ. We were talking about a high IQ before, but now let's flip that, okay? let's flip that. Yeah, what does our homie have over here? He's probably making mutas. That's silly goose talk, exactly. Yeah. There are Banelings? Oh, there is Banelings morphing there. Gosh. Killing his spawning pool, too. If he didn't send an overseer, he's gonna lose that. Kinda surprised he's just gonna die like this, to be honest. I guess he did really make way too many Zerglings, huh? Here we go. I'm actually curious what it looked like. Because he just never stopped building them. Look at the mini-map here, right? He has 27 drones. At this point, everything is done, right? There's no more damage to be done here. He's still making Zerglings. And he's gonna make another round of Zerglings after these drones, I think. Yeah, exactly. Another round of Zerglings. He's a little crazy. He's a little crazy.